Oh yeah, from stand-up from stepping. Well, let's go ahead and sit well. Let's take the flesh out from underneath our sits bones so that we feel that taking the sits bones back and apart. And then place our hands on our thighs. Allow our sits bones to get nice and heavy and lengthen up through the crown of the head. And start following the path of the breath through the body. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Inhale into the belly, draw the breath up into the rib cage and all the way up to the collarbones. And exhale, belly, rib cage, collarbones. Inhaling, belly, rib cage, collarbones. And exhaling, belly, rib cage, collarbones. Inhaling, 1, 2, 3. And exhaling, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling, 1, 2, 3. And exhaling, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling, 1, 2, 3. And exhaling, 3, 2, 1. A few more times on your own. Inhaling, 3 count. Exhaling, 3 count. Relax the face, relax the eyes, relax the mind. Feel the earth supporting you. Notice the coolness of the breeze on your skin, the sound of the water. Tuning into the quality of this moment and the qualities of this place. Bring our hands into prayer position in front of our hearts. And bow our heads towards our hands. Acknowledging ourselves. And then gently open your eyes and lift your gaze. And as you lift your gaze, take in the beauty and the colors. Release your hands to your thighs, and let's go ahead and get onto all fours, hands and knees. And on all fours, hands and knees, placing your hands mindfully underneath your shoulders, spreading the fingers. We're going to inhale, soften between the shoulder blades, lift the hips and look up. And then round the spine like Halloween cat on the exhalation. And inhaling, soften between the shoulder blades, lift the hips and look up. And exhaling, Halloween cat, rounding the spine. So continue to do this for a few more breath cycles on your own. Maybe pause if you feel a spot that feels extra good that your body needs. So flexions and extensions of the spine, so good for waking up and so good for disc health in the spine. And then come back to center and let's wag our tails, look over the right shoulder, and then look over the left. For those of you who paddle the stand-up paddleboard, it's interesting because these, that QL, the quadratus lumborum, kayakers use it a lot, but also stand-up paddleboarders use it a lot for balancing. Good, and then come back to center, and let's go ahead and Extend our right leg back, right toes on the floor. And let's go ahead and explore in this shape, lowering the hip, lifting the hip, pressing the heel back for a calf stretch. This is a nice gentle way to start opening the hip. Let's take our left toes out to the side, keeping our left knee right where it is. Take our entire back foot down. Coming into our side plank variation with the arm up. Good. Take the left shoulder blade back on your back. And then let's do big circles with the right arm. So big circles. And then switch direction with the circles. And the next time that arm is right by your right ear, fingertips pointed forward, palm facing down, keep a slight bend in that back knee. And press through the outer edge of that back foot, through the right fingertips, and then use your left arm, your left hand to maybe twist open towards the sky. Look at that beautiful blue sky this morning. Woo-hoo. And then exhale, come down. And let's come into a child's pose. Pressing the hips back, keeping the arms forward, forehead towards the floor. Inhale through the nose and exhale, open mouth, sigh. Do that a few more times if you feel it. And let's inhale, come back to center, all fours. Let's take our other leg back, left leg, toes on the floor, and let's explore in this shape, lifting the hip and lowering it, pressing the heel back for a calf stretch. And now we're going to take our right toes out to the side, keep our right knee right where it is, take the left foot down, coming into our side plank, extending the left arm up. Take the right shoulder blade back on your back and big circles with that top arm. And then switch direction when you're ready. The next time that arm is right by your left ear, pause here for a big side stretch. Maybe twist open towards the sky. Come down. Curl your toes under and press back into a child's pose with the toes curled under to give our feet a nice stretch. That'll feel good for you, Kelly. Or maybe you should. Inhale through the nose and exhale, open mouth wide. Inhale back to all fours. Let's do a little bit more of spine warming up. So we'll do our isolate the pelvis, and let's make circles in one direction by isolating the pelvis, and then circles in the other direction. And then come to center, and then rib cage, imagining that you're on the inside of a barrel and you're cleaning the back of the barrel with your back ribs and cleaning the front of the barrel with your front ribs. And then switch direction. It's really good after camping.
Yeah.
Good, and then come back to center and shoulders. So isolating the shoulders, doing a little, they're like little shoulder blade push-ups that we've been doing, but you're doing like a circle motion and then switch direction. Good, and then come back to center and start with the pelvis, right? Isolating the pelvis, and then allow all these motions of the rib cage and the shoulder blade to shoulders to follow. And they go the opposite directions of what your pelvis is doing. Good, and then pause and then other direction. There's like a snake-like quality to it almost. Good. So, and then come back to center and let's go ahead and sit back on our heels. Let's just do a little wrist stretch. So as we inhale, fingertips towards the forearms, and as we exhale, palms facing forward. Come back behind you, and then inhale. And then as we inhale, let's look up, do a little back bend. And as we exhale, come back behind us, and then inhale, and then exhale. Inhale and exhale last time. So then pause here and take your arms out to the side at a diagonal, so fingertips pointed down. We're going to take our left ear towards our left shoulder and breathe and draw the shoulder blade back on your back. And then you can take the chin down, lift the chin, turn it up to the sky, so you're getting into the neck. Make sure you breathe. If you find a spot that needs some attention, take a deep breath as if you could send air there. And then let's go other side. Right ear towards the right shoulder. Take the left shoulder back. And move around. And then release and kind of shake it out. And let's do a few shoulder rolls. Just facing the river. I can face you guys. Hi. Let's do a few shoulder rolls to the back. Awesome, and then shake it out. Let's come back to all fours, hands and knees. We're going to curl our toes under and press our hips up and back into a downward facing dog. And here in our down dog, we're going to move and groove, lifting one hip and then the other, bending one knee and then the other. Shaking the head, yes and no. And then settle into the down dog with a slight bend in the knees and the sits bones moving back and apart. And then find your breath. Remember to take the weight out of the heel of the hand and spread the fingertips, press the fingertips down. And then inhale, take the right leg up and back for down dog splits. Bend that right knee, take the right foot over towards the left, and at the same time, take the left knee towards the left little toe. Keep breathing. And then inhale, extend that back leg up, and exhale, bring it down. Let's go other side. Inhale that left leg up. Open it up, bend that left knee. Breathing, take the right knee towards the right little toe. Keep a slight bend in that extended leg, in the bottom leg. Good, inhale, extend up, and exhale, come down. And let's walk our feet forward, coming to a forward fold. Forward fold with a slight bend in the knees. Good. And then inhale, let's roll all the way up and reach for the sky. And exhale, take your hands down and in front of your heart. Just take a moment here to pause in mountain pose. Look down and see that your feet are parallel and toes are pointed straight ahead. Keep soft knees. And then take the sits bones back and apart. Actually, let's just shake here for a minute. Let's just bounce until your hands move. Until your hands are shaking. Good. And then press in through the heels, like slight bend in the knees, sits bones back and apart, and then think about inhaling up the back body, extending out. So we're not letting our front ribs jut forward, we're knitting them in and extending up, which should feel good on the low back. And then inhale, we're going to take our arms out and up. Let's do palms together, index fingers high this time. Exhale here. Inhale, press through that right foot to extend up the right side, to then hinge to the left. And breathe. Keep soft knees. Notice if you've pressed your hips forward. In this pose, we have a tendency to just go into our habit patterns. So let's notice that. And then inhale back to center and lengthen. And gently look up. Exhale here. Inhale, press through the left foot, extend up the left side to hinge to the right. Again, notice the hips. Make sure you're keeping freedom in those hip creases and in your knees. Breathe into that left side as if you could send air there. And then inhale back to center. Lengthen, maybe do a little back bend looking up at that beautiful blue sky. And exhale, take the hands behind your backs. Clasp them behind the back. Again, soft knees, sits bones moving back and apart. Inhale into the back ribs. So notice if your front ribs just protruded forward, and inhale into the back ribs, lengthening up the crown of the, through the crown of the head. And then exhale, deep bend in the knees to come into a forward fold with the hands on your back. And remember, it's okay if they're on your back. Shake the head, yes and no. And then exhale, release the hands. They come to the floor as we bend our knees deeply, shift our weight back. We sit back into our heels, coming up into a chair pose. So here we're strengthening those glutes. Keep taking the sits bones back and apart here, knitting the front ribs in. Good, and then exhale, come down into a forward fold. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head by lifting the chest. And exhale, we're going to step back with our right foot. Big step back. We're going to take a bend in our left knee right over the left ankle. Okay. And we're going to pause here and do a little shifting here with the knee up. We're going to inhale, high lunge. Exhale, bend the back knee and extend the front leg as much as you can. It may not be very much. Inhale, high lunge. And then exhale, bend the back knee and lengthen through the front leg. So we're just moving here. Moving around in this shape. Good, and when we come back to high lunge, let's go ahead and press through the front heel and the back foot. Coming into a high lunge with the back heel up. Good. Let's just do some shoulder rolls. Take the sits bones back and apart. Take the back ribs back, doing some nice shoulder rolls. And then let's take our arms into it. Really, with all that paddling we're doing, it's so great to do some back rolls with their shoulders. Good, and the next time our hands come down, let's also lower that knee nice and slow. Keep pressing through that front heel. Take that right hand down to the inside of your left foot and twist open to the sky with that left arm. Now everyone, take your right shoulder blade back. We tend to forget about the shoulder that's connected to the hand that's on the floor. Draw it back on your, don't let it push forward. Breathing. Good, and then exhale, take that hand down. Let's do the same thing in this shape. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, runner stretch, back and forth. Come back to low lunge. Take both hands to the inside of that front foot. And we're going to do little circles with our hips here. And just notice if there's any catching or any spot that doesn't feel very smooth, anything that gets stuck. It's just information for you, for your body. And then switch direction. And then come back to center. Let's come back to our twist. So again, I want you guys to, if you can, watch me for a second. And so if I'm in the twist and my arm is like this, see how my shoulder is? I want you to draw it back. Can everyone see that? So we tend to be like this in that bottom arm, and that's wreaking havoc on the shoulder, so you want to draw it back on your back. Okay. So once again, drawing that shoulder blade back on the back, twisting open. If it's available to you, you may want to bend that back knee, reach back, and take that back foot for more of a thigh stretch. And then exhale, release, and lengthen through that front leg, coming into a runner stretch. And here in our runner stretch, press the heel strongly into the mat, slight bend in the knee, and then take those sits bones back and apart, especially the left. Really gets into the belly of the hamstring there. Good. Inhale, bend the front knee, plant the hands, and let's step back into a plank position. Good, and then lower all the way to your bellies. Actually, sorry, come to your forearms and your knees. Forearms and knees, setting up for shoulder blade push-ups. Okay. So in our shoulder blade push-ups, we're isolating the shoulder blades. So we're squeezing the shoulder blades and then releasing them, spreading them apart, squeezing the shoulder blades and releasing them. Try to isolate the movement in the shoulder blades only. So we're not doing a whole lot with the spine moving. Press into my hand. Yeah, now hold that. Maybe not so much. Okay, hold that and now isolate here. Don't let this drop. Don't let it drop. I know it's hard. Keep this full. It's going to activate your core. It's going to help your low back a lot if you can start keeping this full. Good, all right. Come all the way down to the mat. We're going to take our hands, our shoulders out, our hands out, so that we're in our spider cobra. Forehead to the floor to start. And we're squeezing the upper back. And now what I want you to do is what we call shoulder flossing. So I want you to drop your one shoulder forward and then bring it back. Shoulder forward and bring it back. We're flossing the connective tissue. And really bring it back. Keep the forehead on the floor so that you can rest, then you get much more of a stretch. And then go to the other shoulder, switch back and forth. And then come back to spider cobra where your forehead is on the floor. You're pressing all 10 fingertips into the mat strongly to squeeze the shoulder blades. And then we're going to inhale and lift the chest, lift the legs up, and exhale, right ear to the mat. Legs come down. Inhale to lift, and exhale, left ear comes to the mat. And again, inhale, lift, and exhale, right ear comes down, and inhale, lift, and left ear comes down, and exhale. Inhale to lift and pause here, taking the shoulder blades way back, lengthening through the crown of the head and through the toes. Keep the lift, let go of the fingers, take them underneath your hands, palms flat, and engage the hands to drag your chest forwards a little bit more as you extend through the toes, just a little bit more. Good, exhale, come down. Inhale, we're going to press up to all fours. Remember, your butt goes first. That's going to activate your core. Sits bones first. Inhale to all fours. Curl the toes under and press back into a down dog. And again, here you can move and groove in your down dog. And then settle with this bend in the knees, sits bones moving back and apart. And now the other piece is fill in the back ribs while keeping your sits bones back and apart. Inhale, walk your feet forward to a forward fold. Shake the head yes and no. Big bend in the knees for support. Inhale to lengthen through the crown of the head, and exhale, step back with that left foot. Find your low lunge, your high lunge, I should say. So stepping back with that left foot, right knee right over the right ankle, and we're going to do some little movement here. So high lunge, and then bend the back knee and lengthen through that front leg. It may not be a lot of lengthening, that's okay. We're just moving. We're, again, moving, creating friction with the connective tissue so that it's more open to stretching and strengthening. And then come to your high lunge position and come up, pressing through the front heel. Take the sits bones back and apart, lengthen, and let's do our shoulder rolls again. And then bring them into big arm circles. And actually, yeah, when you come to the arm circles, bend the elbows back like you're a bird spreading, like drawing your wings, or maybe I should say cactus arms. And squeeze the shoulder blades back and the elbows towards one another. Good, and the next time your hands come down, let's lower the knee as slowly as we can, coming into our low lunge. Awesome. Take the hands, let's go ahead and take our left hand down. And again, take that left shoulder blade back and then twist open to the right. Keep taking the sits bones back and apart. Exhale, take that right hand down, and let's do some inhale, low lunge, exhale, runner's stretch, so a little back and forth. Susan, can you bring that front foot a little further forward? Be a little bit easier. Good, and then let's come back to our twist one more time. twisting open. If it's available to you, you can bend your back knee, reach back and take your foot. And breathe. And then exhale, release. Let's lengthen through that front leg, coming into a runner stretch. So, bend in the knee, pressing the heel into the mat and taking the sits bones back and apart. Don't actually press too far back. You want to keep your hips lifted off of your back heel. Find your breath. And then inhale, bend the front knee, plant the hands, and let's step back into a down dog. In the sand. So you can move and groove in your down dog. And then let's go ahead and inhale again, down dog splits. Open up that knee, and then take the left knee towards the left little toe. So really opening the hips. Here's another challenge since we've been doing it. If you want, you can keep taking that right foot down to the ground and open up into wild thing. If you want to try it. And then exhale when you're ready, flip back over, down dog. You can go other side. Inhale that leg up, bend the left knee. Keep taking the right knee towards the right little toe as maybe you flip over into wild thing, big opening. And then exhale, flip back over. Coming into down dog. Nice work, you guys. Shift forward into plank, come down to your knees, and press back into child's pose. Ooh, nice work. Inhale through the nose, exhale, open mouth sigh. Good. Move your neck around in child's pose, just to, or your head, I should say. Ears towards the shoulders, just maybe a figure eight. You can get a nice stretch. Good. Inhale, come to all fours. And then sit back on your heels. Nice work, you guys. So it's a little bit more rigorous, a little bit more opening. That feel okay for you guys? Okay, so let's go ahead and lie on our backs. So I want to do this strap.
Feet facing you or head facing
toes towards me. My mat sank pretty deep. All right, so take your strap. This is one of the best poses for paddlers. Like if I could give one pose, if you're like, I only have one pose I can do, this would be it. And it does require a strap, and the strap really helps us with our alignment, okay? So I want you to just watch me for a moment because I'm going to explain why the strap is so important. So when I put the strap around my foot, I want to hold it long. I'm not trying to hold it at my foot, okay? Because see, when I hold it this way, look at the position of my shoulders. Rolled forward, okay? Also, notice the position of my pelvis, which we've talked about, right? It's posteriorly tilted. As soon as I hold the strap long and I allow my legs some freedom, I can walk my shoulder blades under and I can press my sits bones back and apart, which gives me a much better stretch. You guys see the difference? So go ahead and lie on your backs and take your strap around the ball of your right foot and hold it as pretty long so that your hands are near your chest. Walk your shoulder blades under. Keep a slight bend in your knee. And then take the sits bones back and apart. Press them into the floor, like we were doing yesterday with our little mini cat-cow against the floor.
Oh, man.
Good, and then just gently move the leg back and forth like you're waving at that sky with the bottom of your foot. Holding onto the strap, not pulling too hard. And you're really opening up, so it's big movements. You're really waving at the sky. So your leg comes across, your foot comes out to the side. Good. Extend your left leg straight if you can. Good. Come back to center and stretch it up. But what I mean by stretch it up is take the sits bones back and apart and press the ball of the foot into the strap strongly. Take your strap in your left hand and take the leg out to the left, but only as far as you can. As soon as you start feeling your body roll to the right, stop. That's all you got. Kate, come up a little bit with that leg. Yeah, there you go. Keep pressing into the mat with your left sits bone. And breathe into that left thigh. So the right leg is going out to the right. Kate, come back up with that leg. You're rolling over. See? And breathe. Good, and then inhale back to center. Right, cross your straps so they form an X across the shin, and you're holding your ends. And then take that leg across the midline, only about 5 or 10 degrees, and then take the sits bones back and apart again, especially the right sits bone. You'll get into the glute, into the IT band. Make sure you're breathing, coming back to that 3-count breath. And then take your straps in your left hand and take your right foot all the way across for a twist. And your right hip can come all the way off the floor. Keep inviting your right shoulder blade down towards the floor. And get your right shoulder or right arm into cactus arms or out, extended out from the shoulder. And breathe. Inhale, take that leg back to center and stretch it up. Take the sits bones back and apart. And now also press the back ribs into the floor. And notice how that changes the stretch slightly. And then exhale, release the strap, allow the leg to float down. And notice the difference between both legs and both hips. Let's take an inhale through the nose, exhale, open mouth, sigh. And let's go other side. Let's take our strap around the ball of the left leg. Hold the straps close to your chest so you can tuck your shoulder blades back. And then take your leg away from you so that you can also take the sits bones back and apart. So don't try, Kate, hold your straps a little longer. Yeah, don't try. The point here is not to bring the leg towards the chest. I cannot say that enough because you're not getting the stretch really that we want. If you let your leg fall a little bit further away from your chest and then you take the sits bones back and apart and then press the back ribs into the floor, you'll get a stretch. Does everyone feel that? Good, and then keeping that, the sits bones back and apart, start waving at the sky with your leg. giving it a nice big opening and then across. Good. And then take your straps in your left hand and allow that left leg to come out to the side. And as soon as you feel yourself roll to the left, you got to stop and keep taking the right sits bones back and apart. We've got to check our egos, right? The point is not to get the foot to the floor. It's about feeling what's going on in your hip and getting a nice stretch across the right leg. Everyone, point your right toes towards the sky and flex your right foot. So this bottom leg shouldn't just be flaccid, like just there. You want to internally rotate it, toes pointed up towards the ceiling. And then you'll feel your stretch a little more. Inhale, come back to center. Cross your straps so they form an X. And take the leg across the midline about 5 or 10 degrees. Remember to keep a slight bend in that knee. And then let's take a breath here. Open mouth sigh. And when you're ready, take that leg all the way across for a nice reclined stretch. Take the left arm out to the left or in cactus arms. And then inhale back to center. Stretch it up to the sky. And then exhale, release. And allow that leg to float down. Notice the difference in your hips and legs. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling, open mouth sigh. Bend your knees and place your feet flat on the mat. Take your arms overhead. Watch the sand. Inhale, press the feet into the mat to lift the hips. Take the arms down by your sides. And then exhale, take everything back down, arms overhead. Inhale, lift through the heels. Arms come down. And exhale, arms come overhead. And again, inhale, lift. Here in the lift, stay here. You can tuck your shoulder blades under. Maybe you just have your elbows pointing, pressing into the ground as you point your fingertips to the sky. Imagine that you're holding a block between your knees, gently squeezing it, and then engage the feet as if you're dragging them up towards your shoulder blades. Cool. And then softly move your hips from side to side in this pose, like you're cleaning out the back of the barrel with your butt. And then come down. Let's lift our hips, take the hips over to the left, to then take the knees, and remember we want to stack the knees and take them over to the right at almost navel height. So take those knees to navel height, and let's try and keep lengthening that left knee as if we were trying to bring the left knee in line with the right knee. So that gives a little bit more of an iliopsoas stretch as well as a twist. And gently turn your heads towards the left, gazing up at that beautiful blue sky. And let's inhale the knees back to center. Take the hips over to the right. Take the knees, stack them, navel height and over to the left. And this time we're stretching through that left knee from the left hip out the left knee. Sorry, from the right hip out the right knee, attempting to stack that right knee on top of the left knee. And gently turn the head towards the right. Inhale the knees back to center. Take the hips back to center. And let's go ahead and take happy baby pose. Bending the knees towards our armpits, taking the outer edges of our feet. Maybe rolling around. And even in this pose, see if you can take your sits bones back and apart and press your back ribs into the floor. And just notice how that changes the pose. You can take the soles of your feet together. That might feel good as well, to the inside, and let your knees come out to the side. Good. And then let's go ahead and release. Coming into relaxation pose. Extending the legs out. If you need to put your socks on or cover yourselves. Inhale through the nose and exhale out the mouth. And again, inhaling. Last time, inhale. So notice the thought in your mind. You label it very gently and humorously, thinking. Maybe you even label it judging, comparing, worrying. And just notice how labeling it takes its power away. And you can bring your attention back to the path of the breath through the body. Not trying to control the breath. Just allowing yourselves, giving yourselves the gift of relaxing against the earth. Allowing your bodies and minds to settle. And I'll let you know when it's time to come out. some deeper breaths. Bringing movement to your bodies with fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Extend your arms overhead for a big full body stretch. And hug your knees into your chest. Roll over onto your right side, taking a breath here at least, or two, not moving too quickly. And gently press yourselves up to a comfortable seated position. Let's bring our hands in front of our hearts. Let's hold a thought of gratitude for something, someone that we're grateful for. And curl our lips up into a little smile, noticing the powerfulness of this practice. And let's also send some gratitude to this camp, the spirits of this land, for welcoming us, giving us a beautiful camp and place to rest, and of course to the river. Thanks for practicing this morning.